Take a close look at these words. What do you notice? Each word has a Hamza, but they all look different. Some are written on the letter waaw, others on alif, ya, or even with no letter underneath. Why are there so many forms, and how do you know which one to use? This is Arabic with Amina. In this lesson, we'll break down the different types of Hamza and how to write them correctly. First, what is a Hamza? Hamza is this little letter right here. It represents a glottal stop, which is a sound produced from the bottom of the throat by briefly closing and then opening the vocal cords. Try to make the sound soft, like the pause between uh-oh in English. Uh-oh. That's Hamza. We can categorize Hamza by its position in a word. At the beginning, it can be Hamzat al-Wasl or Hamzat al-Qat'. In the middle, it's called al-Hamza al-Mutawassita. And at the end, it's al-Hamza al-Mutطرفة. I've already covered Hamza in the beginning of a word in another video. In this video, we're going to be focusing on Hamza in the middle and the end of a word. We'll start off with al-Hamza al-Mutawassita, which is found in the middle of a word. Take a look at these words. دافئة, warm. كأس, cup. سؤال, question. قراءة, reading. The Hamza appears on different letters. We have ya, alif, waaw, or nothing. Why so? Well, it depends on the vowel or the haraka before the Hamza. So in the first word, dafi'a, before the Hamza is the letter fa. And fa has a kasra. Kasra is the haraka, kasra, produces a sound similar to ya, right? So when there is a kasra before the Hamza goes on the letter ya, dafi'a. In the second word, kas, or cup, the letter before the Hamza is kaf, and it has a fatha. The fatha produces a sound similar to the letter alif. So, the Hamza will be written on the letter alif. The third word, su'al, question. If we look at the letter before the Hamza, it is the letter sin, and it has a dhamma on it. Dhamma produces a sound similar to the letter waaw. It even looks like it. So the Hamza will go on the letter waaw if preceded by a dhamma. The last instance where the Hamza is written on no letter and it's just written on the line of a notebook or whatever, it's not on a letter. There are two instances where we will write it on no letter. Let's go with our first example, قراءة, reading. The letter before the Hamza is an alif. Because it is an alif, the Hamza will be written on no letter. So we are actually looking at the letter before and not the haraka. It's an alif. That means we're writing the Hamza on no letter. However, in the second example, Nabuwa, prophecy, we will look at the letter before it, and as long as it's not an alif, we have to look at the haraka. This haraka is sukun, and since sukun means no vowel, no pronunciation, well, that means no letter for the hamza. And that's it for al-hamza al-mutawassita, or the hamza in the middle of a word. Now let's move to hamza at the end of a word. Al-hamza al-mutطرفة. Here are some examples. شاطئ, beach. ملجأ, shelter. لؤلؤ, pearls. شيء, something. It's the same idea as the hamza in the middle of a word. The seat of the hamza, or which letter it's written on, depends on the preceding vowel or haraka. So for the word شاطئ, we have a kasra, which means the hamza is written on ya. ملجأ, shelter, preceding haraka is a fatha, so hamza is written on alif. لؤلؤ, the harakas are dhamma, so we write it on a waaw. شيء, this is a sukun, meaning the hamza will not have any seat and it will not be written on any letter. Also, if the hamza is preceded by the letter alif, it will be written on no letter as well. However, there is something to note about al-hamza al-mutatarrifa, or the hamza at the end of a word, and that is tanween. Tanween is always written on the last letter of a word, correct? So how does hamza take tanween? Well, the dhamma tanween, we will put it on top of the hamza. Just add the two dhammas on top of the hamza. No big deal. The kasra tanween, same thing. We will add the two kasras under the hamza. However, for fatha tanween, there are a few rules. Asma. If the hamza follows the letter alif, the tanween will be written above the hamza. Okay, nothing new, nothing special here, right? Basically what we said in the previous slides. Tanween of kasra, just write it below the hamza. For dhamma, write it on the hamza. And right here, we're just writing it on the hamza again. But this is where it gets a little bit different. If the letter before hamza is a non-connecting letter, such as here, the letter zain. Zain is an unfriendly letter, which means it does not connect to any letter that comes after it. In this case, we will add a separate alif after the hamza and put the tanween on it. And if the hamza is coming after a connecting letter, such as in this word, the letter ba, we will connect the hamza by putting it on a ya and adding an alif at the end with the tanween. So we connect the hamza to the letter before it because it's a friendly letter. It's always going to be on a ya. It's not a waaw, it's not an alif. And then we will add an alif afterwards just to hold the tanween. So these are the special rules for fatha tanween on Hamza. And that's it for today's lesson. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Arabic with Amina. Share with a fellow Arabic learner. You never know who might need it. Also, check out our free courses on our website, arabicwithamina.com. See you next time.